Where's the button?
We should be live.
Wait, I wasn't ready.
You waited for that.
All right. Let me mute my
Pop out El
stream
Shadow.
and pop out the chat.
Hello, Zerider, or Zerider. However you call yourself named.
All right. Let me put this over here.
I have too many windows open.
It's going to be a major draft.
All right.
You know what? My actual window. I only have one actual window.
I'm mad that I only just got that.
I'm going to go ahead and start a quick recount because it has not only has it been 2 weeks, but I do want to catch Inferno's up at least enough to know where we are. And last week, unfortunately, everyone on YouTube, I was very sick for pretty much the whole week. I ended up canceling like every event that I have during the week, so I'm feeling much better. So yes, so the adventurers, our fellow adventurers, were riding down the Rapper Waste. They found a monastery, oddly enough, in the middle of the waste of monks that train themselves in the art of defense using magical gloves that actually generate a tone when the gloves hit something when used properly. And the monks have trained so hard and long at it that they actually produce what could be considered music when they fight. The party spent an evening with them, learning their ways and bartering for several objects of theirs, and then continued on to the objective of their pilgrimage, Choco Mountain. Upon reaching the base of Choco Mountain, they found it was encircled by a village of giants, blue giants, like the one they met in the Rapper Waste, at which they were told in order to pass on to Choco Mountain, they had to earn a token from a giant for impressing them during a festival that was held in their honor. There were several events which the heroes partook in. One of them was rock throwing, and keep in mind that they were competing against giants here. One of them was rock throwing, where Giant threw a rock that's about 2 tons, about 500 feet or so, and Kid walked over to a rock, picked it up, and threw it. I think it was about 200 feet. It was nowhere near the 500, but it was impressive enough that a 4-foot-tall, furry little beast picked up a 2-ton rock and threw it, that someone gave Kid a token. Anna proceeded to beat both of them using super telekinesis and got a token that way.
And I'm meditating.
Yes, and is now meditating to recover it. Lucas tried an event called Slip and Slide, which was like a very, very interactive version of bowling, where his plan questionably worked perfectly. He managed to knock down more pins than his giant opponent, winning that. Isaac, well, no, I'm blanking. Isaac, what did you do real quick?
Well, back with the monks, I actually purchased building materials.
Yes, that's right. That's why I was blanking, because you planned ahead and actually got your token right off the bat.
I came
Mhm.
into that idea thinking that it would be applicable to everybody, but apparently not. It was just for Isaac.
Mm-hmm. So that's right. You gave them materials that they value very highly for jewelry, and they gave you a token right off the bat for that. Tessa won the eating contest through proxy of Rael. She convinced Rael to compete in the eating contest, and then since Rael can be put in the pendant, she's just going to use his token. Cyber 6 and Hart actually won a weird form of arm wrestling with a giant, where they pushed his arm off the table using some new upgrades that Hart did to Cyber 6, basically afterburner jets inside his limbs. And Elisa took part in a moral debate in which she defended the fact that feelings can be more substantial and helpful to society than non-feelings, and won her token through a moral debate. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and start the session with one character in the party having yet to earn a token. Among the many events I listed, you are welcome to take part in. There are, of course, any number of ways. Really, what you have to do is impress a giant enough to bestow a token upon you. Those are just their traditional games that they play during such a festival.
Okay. That's a pretty long recap. Can you give me a quick version of the options?
Sure, absolutely. So you have a rock throwing contest with
Yep.
2-ton rock. You have a slip and slide where you literally slide down a very slick surface trying to knock down or explode steel pillars that are about the size of a man, a little bit taller and wider than a man. Stone pillars, sorry. You have a moral debate. You can choose to debate an issue with a giant. You have an arm wrestling contest, which is basically where they put their arm flat against the table and you push it off one end or the other. So it's more of a shoulder contest than an arm.
Yep.
Or you can, as Isaac did, offer them something of great value.
Well, now we're in trouble because I don't think Xavier would do any of those things. He cares not for moral debates, nor sliding into rock pillars, or feats of strength, or throwing rocks, or giving away valuable shit. So instead, let's see here. Oh. Well, this could be interesting. This is what Xavier's gonna do. He's gonna try to pickpocket one of these tokens, and then once he has it in his possession, he'll make the point. He'll convince them through his wiles and cleverness. He earned a token without them knowing it. What is taken is deserved, and perhaps they will appreciate that concept.
Okay.
If not, then Xavier will be murdered by giants.
Sure, absolutely.
Or imprisoned, at least.
But not absolutely, he will be murdered by giant. No,
Absolutely.
this is definitely doable.
Yeah.
One thing I have a supreme confidence in Xavier is finding a way to do what he wants to do, no matter what the options are.
Yep.
I will point out these tokens are fairly large. It's not impossible for you to
Great.
pickpocket at all, but for a person your size, we're talking about the size of maybe a large salad bowl.
Well, to mitigate that, then I think I will set up a distraction. Let's see here. What kind of distraction would go with the Giants? Hey, so he'll go up to Lucas and he'll ask him if he knows any bawdy tales, any bawdy songs, not Body, Baudy, as in licentious, sultry, risque, scandalous.
Sexy. I get you.
Yes. Sexy, exactly. Sexy like a Splagorth. I would like you
Lucas
tell one of these
pauses and
tales.
turns to him.
I would like you to tell to perform like this as loudly and as sexily as you can.
I would ask you what you're up to, but that would take all the fun out of it.
Exactly. And if you find out, then you might not be able to do this. Let's just say it's a part of my challenge. Okay. Have at her. Have fun. Be
Loud
sexy.
and sexy.
You gotta make it sexy. Xavier says, laughing
Luke
internally.
stops and he goes like, all right, do you want to actually sexy or Splagorth sexy? Because those are like two different things.
Xavier ponders for a moment, wondering that what would be the most distracting. Splagorth sexy.
You have some interesting taste, but okay.
Okay. Well then, Lucas, I guess the next move is in your court.
Lucas wants to go up onto a tall podium-like thing. Is there like a really tall, like, in the debate thing, do they have those podiums? And there's like a giant size podium?
Kind of. Because there aren't two giants debating, what is there is a very large table. And what I mean by large is about 2 stories tall from your perspective. And the giant opponent, sits down on one end, and Elisa, since you're the only one that saw a debate, stood on the table upon the other end.
Well, if that's the best, I'm looking for a good place to stand as a centerpiece. If that is the best one, I will definitely use it.
No, actually, there's plenty. There is, as this is a festival in the village, there is in the village square a large pole in the middle that has streamers that reach from the top of the pole to the roofs of different buildings to create a festive atmosphere. And while the pole itself is about 90 feet high at the top, there are also little support structures that lead up to the pole. You might try and stand upon one of those. But that is literally in the center of the village and therefore the center of the festivities.
But I need something to be loud with if I'm going to go all the way up there. I'm going to look for the second best thing. I guess if one of the support things is a good spot, I will take that spot.
Tell me what. Roll me a D100.
Okay.
Did I just say tell me what?
Yes.
Because I'm God.
He's telling you the roll.
Yeah. Okay, that's not a bad roll. Yeah, so about maybe 30, 35 feet up, there is a support beam that leads into the pole that, believe it or not, has, whether through design or possibly through just age and time, has worn out a little alcove into the pole itself so that you can stand in this little spherical hole that only goes about 3 or 4 feet back. But since it is a sphere of wood, it's actually somewhat acoustic.
Ooh. Well, I would definitely want to go into one of those. Though I have to still be visual. Anyway, I'll just try it out.
Okay. So do you have like a climb check or... I mean, the skill, skill.
I do have a skill. You have to tell me if there's a check or not, Squee.
There is definitely a check. You've got to climb up like 35 feet.
Okay.
And what's your skill?
98.
Okay, well, you didn't even have to use your hands most of the time.
Yeah, well,
easily
Spligort don't have hands.
You easily run up
Need to get into
one
my
of the
part.
support beams to get into position.
Slither up.
This is amazing. Perfect.
I guess he'll try to get attention. Let's see. I guess loud noises first, then shiny. He will bellow to whatever crowd may be around to gather friends and foes alike to see a spectacle of grand proportion.
Okay. I would say that given that Lucas has an enormous skill in the performing arts, it is safe to say that he knows the talent and the actual very real art of a stage voice, of being able to project, being able to be loud without having to scream. And helped by the small acoustic alcove around you, it is more than enough to draw the attention of a majority of the giants in the area.
That's right, one and all, please! I have a show for you! Gather your magnifying glass and bear witness to my amazing feats.
They come around probably about 30 giants or so. It's not too hard, given that you guys are kind of the main attraction as it is. They crowd a little too close, actually, as they're trying to see the small man on the pole, to the point where your entire view is clouded by maybe the first 10 giants. You can see others behind them, but you can't see much of anything else.
Closer! Closer!
They keep getting closer. They start kind of
Luke-
pushing each other out of the way.
That's right.
Lucas thinks this is too funny to him, and he's going to use a magical item to make him even smaller.
Oh my god!
What is going on? I've created a monster.
How small?
It is 1/10 of his size.
Okay,
Oh my
and
God.
is this fast or slow?
I think he's gonna, if he can control it, he would like to do it slow.
I'm willing to give a little creative
Okay.
play in this instance, as the magical item itself does not actually say. You're welcome to if you would like.
I like to make it slowly go smaller and smaller.
Lucas slowly gets smaller and smaller, and as his vocal cords become smaller and his lungs become smaller as well, his pitch gets higher as he gets smaller and smaller, and the giants get closer and closer because, gosh darn it, they just can't seem to get close enough to get a good eye. Until, Lucas, what you see is an eye of a giant that would be shoved out of the way and replaced by another eye, that would be shoved out of the way and replaced by the first eye, that would be shoved down and replaced by a third eye. Basically, there is now a shoving match.
Oh, this is perfect. This is when I want to strike, because the shoving match is perfect because people are pushing into each other. They're not going to notice. I mean, if they feel something in their pocket or something like that, they're going to think someone's just pushing them, right? This is a perfect point. So I'm going to case out an individual, a giant that would have one of these tokens, and bide my time, and then strike.
Okay.
And then run gleefully away with the salad bowl-sized token.
I will say that you can certainly find two giants that are in that little shoving contest.
Perfect.
That you can see they still have tokens. One of them wears it like around one of its fingers, almost like a ring, kind of dangles there.
Uh-huh.
The other one seems to have it tucked into his belt.
Oh, that one.
Okay. That belt is about 30 feet in the air.
Oh.
These guys are 60 feet tall.
God damn it. It's too fucking giants.
Would you like assistance?
No, I don't want you to throw me. That would hurt.
I wasn't gonna throw you, but damn, okay.
Wait, what's the other option?
What kind of assistance could Kid provide?
I mean, they're very small, and also they have a climb feat.
Oh.
But you know
what?
you.
You know what? Xavier's skill is getting other people to do shit for him. So yes, he is going to ask Kid. He says it's going to be a great joke. Could you scramble up that guy's leg and take that token out from him and bring it back to me? Please. Big smile, blinky face.
As you say, it's gonna be a great joke. Kid pauses and then looks at you and goes, "You do remember I was a thief, right? I know what stealing is. I'm not stupid."
Well,
you can
only
say it.
Yeah, but Xavier says, sure, but see, here's the thing. Stealing means you take it and you keep it for yourself or sell it for something like that, I'm going to let them know I have it. I can't hide a token like that. What am I going to hide that underneath my shirt? I'm going to let them know I took it. So that's not really stealing. It's just taking it from them temporarily. And then I'm going to talk them into explaining why I should keep it. That's all. So kind of like a joke. I think it's funny. So I think it's a joke. But yes, could you steal it for me, please? Just because I do it myself, but that thing is 30 feet up in the sky, and you're fast and you're quick and you're a very good thief. You're very, very good kid. You're the best. Remember the holy number?
17.
Yeah, you're 17, kid, through and through.
Kid pauses for a moment and then
Yes.
starts walking off with maybe a little more pep in their step than there should be.
Yes. Some people might pet your fur, but I will stroke your ego.
Yeah, that's the way to go. My climb check is 98, so
okay. Well, here's the thing. I would make it a little harder because the thing you climb is jostling around. However, I also have to make it a little easier because they're very much not paying attention to you. So 92 is enough to get up there.
Okay.
So you get up to his belt. Now, to you, this thing is, like I said, if it's like the size of a large salad bowl to Xavier, like a very shallow bowl, but this probably would, you could probably curl up in it if you tried. Not saying the kid would, but just to give you an idea of its size.
God damn.
It's like torso size.
Yeah, exactly, like torso.
But you can pick up cars. You can handle it.
2-ton stones.
I can pick up more than cars. But yeah. So this is where it gets interesting. Kid doesn't have sleight of hand or pickpocket.
Oh. All right.
Well,
make a case.
What kind of thief are you? I'm a thief, right? Thief would have pickpocket.
Hold on. She's the kind of thief that would just walk through your wall, grab your stereo, and leave.
That's not a
thief. Thank you, Bern. He understands.
Oh, whatever. Anyways, well, you're on the giant now. It's up to you.
Yeah, kid. What do you want to do?
Oh boy. I can do a prowl check. I don't know.
You could do a prowl check. However, that's to move silently, not to steal items.
If you would like to do the thing with your character, you do have very sharp claws. What you could do is cut it, whatever it is, and let it drop.
No. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Kid is going to remove the token and then flute down to the ground.
I see. So you're not even going to try and hide it. You're just going to try and be so fast.
Yes.
Okay. What's your maximum flute distance?
My range is... It says 3 per level.
Right.
I don't remember if that's
9,
feet.
I believe, yeah, it's 3 feet per level. So
Yeah.
I believe you're level 9, which would be 27 feet. So you could barely make it to the... I mean, you wouldn't make it to the ground, but you'd be like 6 feet off the ground.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to break my leg landing, right?
Right. Maybe someone not magical mega damage might.
Yeah.
Okay, so you grab it. Give me a second here to just roll a D100 real quick. Okay. You grab it, you floop, you fall the last 6 feet or so. Go ahead and roll me. Do you have any form of sense of balance, acrobatics, backflip, anything of that nature?
Yes, I have sense of
something.
balance.
Okay, roll me that just to see how you land. Because hurting yourself is great. Not hurting yourself is great, but how you stick the landing also matters.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Kid gracefully tumbles to the ground mid-floop, holding a large token, about able to cover up most of Kid's torso and face. You were fast enough, and Lucas created such a distraction that, lucky for you, the giant doesn't seem to have noticed yet.
Kid just dusts themselves off lightly, walks up to Xavier and hands it over with this smug look on their face.
And he will say, "Good job. You're a valuable team member." And then Xavier will go by, I don't know, like a rock or some sort of outcropping, and he'll sit down with the coin right in his lap, and he'll wait for the giants to stop being distracted by whatever the fuck Lucas is doing. I don't even know what it is. Performance art?
No one but the giants even know, because you can't see. There's a throng of giants that just keep getting closer and closer to the pole.
Exactly.
You may have heard his voice get tinny, but
at this point, I don't even know if the giants know.
All right, Lucas, how long are you going to let this play out?
This is a good question, because he's got no instructions about exactly what he's doing.
Nope.
So I guess he's just going to do this until he's get bored of it, which would probably be about, 15 minutes.
Are you going to do something once you fully shrink? Like, are you performing?
Yes.
What are you...
He's most going to be like, "Behold! My culture's most exquisite sight," as he then shimmers like a small golden shimmer and goes into like a tiny Splugorth costume. They're probably not going to be able to do this. Be able to see what the flip is going on.
One giant that happened to be in the right place at the right time saw you, tiny little man that you are, don a sexy Splugorth costume.
Oh boy. I guess he's going to start sexy Splugorthing, which does not involve that many sexy things, more just very innate, like, pelvic thrusting and, like, really, like, gritty, like, yeah, gotta find that, yeah.
Please roll me a dance check. Just please. Oh my god. So about this time, one of the biggest giants has kind of won the tussle and pushed his competitors away enough to get a steady view. You are so small, though, that Lucas just incredibly, tantalizingly performed for a single giant that can see him.
I'm twerking so many tentacles right now.
Twerking.
Is, believe it or not, mesmerized by the dance.
Start doing a fan dance with the tentacles.
However, while he does seem completely enthralled by what he's viewing, the rest of the giants behind him seem to get more and more agitated and push forward more and more and more until about a minute or two into the dance, Lucas, you begin to hear cracking. That the giants,
I know that I'm tearing ass, but this is not what I thought.
The giants are pushing forward so much that they are literally cracking the pole under their own weight. The pole starts listing backwards.
Now, am I like in something at the moment?
You're in a small, like 3-foot A-clove that is made by a support beam. So imagine it used to be a peg hole, but time and weather has made that peg hole much bigger than it was originally.
Okay. I guess he's gonna have to use one of his batteries. Because I don't think he's got too much time to focus on goddamn making a spell while falling to his death.
All right, real quick, hang on. Yes, kid?
Kid's gonna run over and try and push the pole in the other way and start shouting, "Stop it!"
You're gonna have to make your way through a throng full of giants first, because you did manage to get the token to Xavier, but that is outside of the crowd.
Oh, poop.
So you might hear the pole cracking, and I'm not saying that you wouldn't have time to do something, but you'll have to find a way to get through about 30 some odd giants. Yes, Isaac.
I have an idea. I could get everybody's attention, or I could at least try to. I'm going to take out both pistols, both of my plasma pistols, and shoot straight up in the air, trying to create a loud noise to distract them and turn their attention to me.
Now, these aren't the Naruni pistols, right?
They are.
You traded those.
I have 2 sets.
Oh,
I traded the
good
double
Lord,
shot
man.
ones.
Good Lord, man.
Yes.
Forget you
Dude.
carry an arsenal with you.
Dude, I have like nearly 40 pistols.
Right.
Yes.
My bad. All right. That's pretty loud.
Yeah. They are plasma cartridges, in case that has any bearing on the noise or anything.
All right, give me a second here. Lucas. I mean, not Lucas. Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lucas, you're busy. Isaac, roll me 1d30, please. Yeah, and Anna's just over about 100 feet away, calmly meditating.
Not giving a shit.
All right. So the back half or so do turn around at the large, loud, sharp noise. The front ones seem to react and might have turned around. However, they don't have space to do so. But it does certainly seem as if shooting in the air has had an effect. The pressure forward has paused, at least for the time being. Lucas, things are still cracking and tilting. Maybe not quite as fast as before, but it seems clear that the damage has already been done. Kid, were you going to try something, or?
Yes, as soon as people start turning around, Kid's gonna start, like, shoving through as much as they can.
Okay.
And essentially shouting, "Move out of the way."
Move,
right.
Grish.
Are you trying to use, so this is kind of important, are you trying to use agility to get through them or strength to get through them? As in, are you trying to dodge around them or push them out of the way?
Porque no dos? Can I use both? I don't know.
Well,
or
yeah,
would you
yes.
prefer I pick one?
Well, no, I would assume that both would be involved to a certain degree, but which one would be more your focus? Because you typically wouldn't do both equally. You would do one and use the other to supplement, if that makes sense. Like you'd shove people out of the way and move when you can, or you try and move around them and then shove away the ones you can't.
Honestly, normally, strength would be the thing that they would lean on, but considering how fucking enormous these things are, they're gonna try and dodge more than shove, but
Okay.
they're gonna, yeah. So,
right.
more dex than anything.
Roll me a defensive balance check, please.
Okay.
Another one. And you said it was, what, 98?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You're able to fairly easily dodge around them, despite their large size, or perhaps because of their large size. Them being closely packed together isn't as important for you. They're tightly packed as you're still have breathing room, if that makes sense.
I am very tiny, apparently.
Yes. You're able to dodge around most of their feet and get to the pillar, which as you approach it, you see that the base is cracked and it's losing the battle against gravity and is slowly tilting beyond recovery.
Yeah, Kid's gonna run over and try and push against the side that's leaning backwards.
All right.
So they're gonna essentially try and right the pillar or the pole,
Right.
whatever.
No, I got it. I see what you mean. Normally, I'm trying to think just physically here. Normally, the weight of the pole isn't an issue. Kid could lift the weight of the pole easily. However, this is more of a leverage thing as well. The pole is 90 feet tall. You are 4 feet tall. You can reach up at about 6 feet and try and hold the pillar up, but you're fighting against 84 feet of pole that is trying to come down. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So,
it does.
It is possible, but it would take an enormous feat of strength to do. So here's what I'm going to do. Could you please roll me a D100 and make it and basically you're aiming for a number that is below 4 times your strength. What is your current strength?
Physical strength is 17.
Okay, but it's robotic.
Yes.
Otherwise, this would not even be.
No. If it was not robotic, this would not be happening.
Okay, so give me a second here. As my computer decides to freeze.
68%.
Yeah, so you want to get under a 68.
All right. Fingers crossed.
You did beautifully. So, Lucas, as the pole begins to fall and you becoming very much aware that this thing is not going to stop until it hits bottom, it stops. It stops dead, as if it hit a wall or something. Kid, you stop it, but it is taking a lot of effort fighting against all of that, the length of that pole.
Mm-hmm. Kids just like holding their breath, just like.
Lucas?
Well, I don't know much of anything other than shift of weight and cracking, then stopping, then still a giant eye thing. I guess he would probably, like, he's concerned enough that he's probably going to stop doing whatever he's doing.
Keep dancing until the end.
He's like, all right, looks like show's over, folks. As he like gets his guitar case, like opens it up and starts putting some tentacles away.
Still attached to the costume?
Yes.
Okay. Are you being hurried about this? Are you just casually doing this?
I guess he's just going to be casually doing. He does not know what's going on outside.
So kid. 10 seconds pass. 20 seconds pass. 25 seconds pass. Yes.
Eventually, Kid just shouts up the pole, "Lucas, get down!"
And when that happens, yes, Isaac.
So there's a thing built into most body armors, and I'm fairly sure that my Brannigan armor has one. It is a bullhorn. And I would like to announce over the loudspeaker, don't you guys see that the pole is falling? Our friend is in there.
All right. So we'll say this happens at the same time. Kid, your voice is enough to get to Lucas, but to most other people, it'd be drowned out by the PA. Isaac, your PA your comment would the 12 or so that turned around to face you, look at you, look back at the pole, and then go, "Oh my God, stop it, stop it!" And they rush forward to assist. Which, give me a second, because that could be just as bad as not.
Oh, don't hurt my baby.
Nope. All right, it's okay. They managed to, even though they're pushing forward, some of them managed to worm their way in enough to grab hold of the pole. And Kid, the pressure is mostly taken off of you.
You know, it's kind of sad that this whole event, plus the boulder, has them thinking, I need to be stronger. Like, oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, they'll back off and let the giants take over after that.
The giants, they proceed to gently lower the pole to the ground. It's obvious that it is cracked now. It's not going to stand up. So they begin gently lowering it to the ground. Lucas, are you just going to ride it down, or do you have your own plans? You heard Kid, and you heard Isaac at the same time.
I guess that he would, at this point, shimmer gold and hopefully just kind of grow unnoticed while shimmering gold.
Okay.
That would be good.
That is pretty easily doable. Most people are worried more about the pole now. Well, they're worried about you, but more your safety than your appearance. So that goes by fairly unnoticed.
All right.
And- Mhm.
Yeah, I probably should have climbed into the suitcase. It's bigger than me, wouldn't it be?
At this point, yes, it would have been.
No, let him retcon.
Anyway, he's trying to actually do this as seriously and safely as possible for the rest of this time.
Got it. So you just kind of ride the pole down as it's gently placed on the ground?
Yeah,
Okay.
From what my senses can tell me, this is an okay descent.
Okay. So the pole is gently placed on the ground. Kid, you obviously, I assume, get out of the way. The giant's placed on the ground, and Lucas, you are assaulted with apologies from the giants, apologizing for endangering your life and their zealousness and eagerness to see your performance.
You should all be ashamed.
I'm just so happy you liked me. You really liked me.
All right, now they're getting mixed signals.
You know what? This is so funny how this is my trial and you are doing all my work. I'll be right back. I just need to grab a drink of water while I sit back and let my friends do my work for me.
That's
Look,
his talent.
The sentiment of trying to watch my friend is fantastic. You guys were a bit overzealous. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, right? Right, Lucas? You're fine?
I'm fine.
Kid, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
From the statement, you can tell only their pride was hurt a little bit.
So the giants are a mix of ashamed and happy that Lucas is so touched. Kind of like when a puppy doesn't really know if you're angry at it or not. They actually get kind of shy and bashful. But they make sure that you're all okay, and they do apologize profusely, and they all kind of meander off in different directions. The crowd breaking up and people going about the rest of the festival.
We'll wait for Inferno to come back because I'm sure he wants to do something. Hey,
So they're getting mixed signals. They kind of walked off, kind of ashamed, yet still happy that Lucas was so pleased. And they are now meandering off in different directions, the crowd having broken up.
Xavier will very clearly clear his throat.
Several of the giants stop and turn to
Xavier
look down.
will look to the giant token in his lap and look to the giants. Look to the token in his lap. Look to the giants. No one needs to say anything?
There's a good 10 seconds while they stare at
boy.
you. And then one of them goes, wait. How did you earn that?
Exactly. I earned it. Xavier says with a big smile on his face. Where we are from, what is earned is what is taken. I snitched this from you while you were distracted, and I believe that should constitute as my feat. There are great feats of strength, great debates of intellect. You have a fascinating culture. But one thing you're missing is a test of wits and guile in which I have succeeded. Not only have I succeeded in this challenge, but I have also provided you a new challenge and a new insight into those who might come for this pilgrimage.
You lied to me.
I
You're
tricked
tiny.
you, Xavier says. I tricked you. I tricked everyone. Trickery in itself is a skill.
Xavier, roll me a
Charm.
yeah. Well, this would be more of a trust thing. You're not just using
Okay,
the
invoke
physical.
trust.
Yeah,
Okay.
invoke trust.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Ruh-roh. This is revenge for you guys rolling high last session. I failed by 23.
Okay. One of the giants off to the left, one of the bigger giants in a deep booming voice, says, well, where we come from, taking is called theft, and it's not looked upon kindly.
True, Xavier says, hoping that this explanation worked on kids, so it might work on this giant. Although theft, if I truly wanted to steal something and take it for myself, this is what I could do, my good fellow being. I could have taken it, hidden it away, and continued on, not letting you know that I stole it, not letting you know that I took a token. I could have carried on and truly stole from you. But I respect you too much to do so. I come here openly, letting you know, suggesting a brand new challenge for your kind. That is all. If you do not accept the challenge, if you do not agree with that the idea of guile and trickery and subterfuge is a worthy skill, then so be it. I will happily return the token and do another one of your trials.
Can Lucas do something?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to imitate a giant voice, turn on speakers, and go, oh shit, he's kind of right.
I love you. I love you, Lucas.
I believe imitating voice is a skill, yes?
Yes.
All right. Please roll for your skill. No difficulty modifiers. This is exactly what that skill was made of. Jeez. Alrighty then. So a perfect giant voice calls out, he's kind of right.
Do they look towards where that voice came from?
They look around at each other. Yes.
They all look around at each other.
Mm-hmm.
No one's looking at Xavier right now?
Give me a second.
Sure.
No one's looking at Xavier right now.
Then Xavier's also going to impersonate a giant voice. He goes, yeah, let him keep the token. Really? Can I roll it?
Yes, please.
Yes, I think I have a 72.
Oh man, you're not even trying to imitate a specific voice, just
No,
a
just
giant voice. Yeah.
Thank you, Cybernetic Disguise.
Oh my gosh. All right. With that, the first giant, he looks around and he goes, very well, if that is what you all feel. And upon saying that, most of the giants look either confused or kind of shrug. And
I love bystander apathy when it works for me.
and the giant says, "Then I suppose you earned it."
Thank you very much. And Xavier, very happy with himself, tries to flick the coin, but it's so large, it probably falls on the ground and he has to roll right after it.
Oh man!
You know, here's the best thing is Lucas's success was probably so good, I didn't know he did the imitation. So I can't even thank him for it. I can thank him for the distraction, and I can thank the kid for taking it. And Xavier will do so privately. But yeah, sweet. That was awesome.
And with
Best
that,
trial.
the whole group has tokens, either figuratively or physically. Most of you don't have a physical token simply because the giants didn't want to burden you with something so large during a festival, but there's no rule saying that you can't physically have a token. So the whole group has earned one, with the exception of Tessa, who is putting Rael in his little the necklace and taking his token for herself. Oh yes, sorry, kid.
No, that kid knows that they can actually get a physical token. Kid's gonna go back to the giantess that was like, yeah, you can have mine, and be like, I want it, and hold out a hand.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that one more time. My mind must have.
Kid's going to go to the scientist giant person who is like, yeah, you
the
have
one that
my
gave
blessing.
Yeah.
And be like, I want a token, like for really real's token.
Oh,
and hold out a hand.
Of course, if you would like it, I really. And he hands it out of his pocket and hands it down to you, which you grasp easily in your hands.
Yay. That was me yaying, not kid. But yes.
And for the chat, no, ACU doesn't need to get a token. He can just like ride on Lucas's shoulder. He's tiny beyond tiny.
Philosophical debate.
So I think enough people have earned tokens to move.
Or I can just put them in a small place and they don't even notice.
Right? Like a suitcase.
Like some sort of guitar case.
So, with that, the giants, the gatekeeper, the old ancient giant with a beard that goes down to his knees, approaches you and says, and this is probably about an hour or so after Xavier gets the last token. And you guys are very well fed. Might I mention, not a single fish to be found in this village. Mostly they eat grown vegetables and some sort of livestock that they keep that it looks a little odd. They look like miniature camels. And you're all given dishes that look like they look like spaghetti and meatballs is what it looks like.
Oh.
They're homegrown noodles with some sort of sauce and their balls in it, and they are somewhat sour.
Oh.
Instant disappointment.
What? Sour camera balls. Yeah,
Those
I suppose you could say that.
I
I suppose you could call it that if you would like.
So wait, are the noodles the sour part, or
No,
No,
it's
the balls
meatballs.
are.
Oh
the
no,
the meatballs.
Oh my god, kid like starts off like scarfing it down and then pauses and then just
Yeah, fish ain't looking so bad now, is it?
They weren't complaining.
But eventually the gatekeeper comes up to you and says, well, you have earned your tokens, pilgrims, and it was a joy to watch. You are welcome to stay here as long as you feel you need, but the path to Choco Mountain is open to you. Good luck. That young man is difficult.
Difficult, like boxing match difficult, or like difficult like you told him to put away the toys like 5 times and he just still has them out.
You hear a voice from back in the crowd that sounds almost exactly like the voice you imitated. It says, "He's an asshole."
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the info.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, no problem. And the gatekeeper just kind of sighs and pinches his eyes and his eyebrows, and he goes, "He is up there serving penance, and that makes him rather unagreeable."
He serves what?
Penance, punishment for taking a title that did not belong to him. Our Lord Backsmack is ironic and interesting in his ways. Dio took a title of Backsmack's avatar when it wasn't his, and went gallivanting across the galaxy, proclaiming himself to be something he wasn't. So, to teach him his lesson, Backsmack made him his avatar. A position I would not find enviable for anyone. He will tell you himself. He delights in doing so.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, sure.
Seems interesting.
Yeah.
As I said, you're welcome to stay as long as you would like, but the mountain awaits you at your will.
Kid starts walking towards the mountain.
Uh-oh.
What time is it? Is it a good place to rest, or is it one of those things where like we should probably just go now because it's not going to get any
Rest.
better than this?
It's early evening. The festival has
Oh,
taken a
definitely
good part of
rest.
the day. Yeah,
Yeah,
the festival's
definitely
taken
rest.
a good part of the day.
Yeah, most of us
Is
have...
anyone gonna stop Kid?
Kid,
Kid, no.
We're
We're staying
can you
here.
please come back?
Just for the
Kid
night,
turns
jeez.
around.
Have more sour balls.
No.
Isaac.
What?
Are the noodles sour as well, or are they just
No.
like regular pasta?
No, they taste like rice noodles more than anything.
Alright, then that's all Kid's really gonna eat at this point then.
All right.
Disappointing meat.
I like to squeeze the balls into my spaghetti.
Oh my god.
I eat very little.
I have
Getting the
remind
juices
you-
all over my spaghetti.
And so you pass a lovely evening among very friendly giants, who turn out to actually be day people, not night people. Whereas most festivals, the party really gets going at night. These giants tend to actually wind down with the sunset, and while some do stay and sit around a campfire and discuss morals and values, which I will point out that most of you find very odd, very strange, like the idea that it is more noble to die making someone laugh than it is to live helping those in need. But for the most part, they turn in shortly after sundown, and the village becomes very quiet. No campfire songs. These are philosophical giants, not singers.
You can turn campfire songs into philosophical discussions somehow.
You can.
Sure. Like, what does kumbaya mean?
Do you guys do anything for the evening, or are you just resting, preparing for the next day?
Meditation.
I have nothing in particular to bring up. I'm good to pass the night.
I'm good.
Are those boulders still just kind of sitting around?
Yeah, they're still where they were thrown.
Kid's gonna go over and like practice lifting them.
All right. Lifting's not a big issue. Throwing's not a big issue. You're never gonna make it as far as Anna did.
Look, man, they can dream.
I know. I know. Oh man. All right.
It came at great cost of 100 ISP.
Yes, it was
Cheater.
very expensive.
Sorry.
Anyone else doing anything? Or just resting?
Yes.
Mhm.
Lucas would be inquiring about great bowls of meat.
Okay. What inquiry is it exactly?
Since it's going to be a long trip, we're going to need a lot of bowls, preferably dry bowls.
Well,
Hmm.
sure. What do you have to trade for them?
Lucas would be curious enough as he ruffles through his bag. Do you guys take tickets?
Tickets?
Yeah.
What are tickets?
You know, little pieces of paper that say, let's say, one adult, I think it says.
Let me see, says the chef.
He holds up a ticket.
He gets in really close because this ticket is small for you, so it's
Yeah.
minuscule for him. And he goes, What would I possibly need that for? That's not big enough to put on the tip of a can somewhere.
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but there does seem to be a town. He points like probably in the wrong direction. There's a town that away for us. It was a few days, weeks. However you say the sun crossed the sky quite a few times, like 20.
What, you mean across the wastes?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have no use for their currency. We don't ever really interact. The only people from across the waste we see are pilgrims such as yourself, and those are maybe once a generation.
Well, shoot, you guys need to do more festivals.
Yes, we do.
I gotta go change this. I don't have enough time for this. You put me in an awkward situation, good sir. But I will try to trade something else. Don't think I have anything in something that might be a large quantity. He looks at his giant pack of poppers.
Might I make a suggestion,
Sure.
if you don't mind, as a DM? Ace, you might have valuable things to trade. You are talking to a chef here.
I'm so super confused. Who the fuck is Ace?
The clay golem.
The Pillsbury Doughboy?
Oh, that's his name?
Yeah, his name is
Ace-
ACU.
Okay, all right. That explains everything.
Oh, well, Lucas kind of goes, I got nothing for actual trade, but I know that I can probably do something like, oh no, that last time I did the dance, I made such a horrible mess. I think guys, you don't have any. I could ride a camel around, but I'd still probably have the same issue, especially if I ride it up the pole again. Music? No. You guys look like you have a hearty meal. I could try cooking.
Are you quite all right, young man? You're rambling.
No, I mean, yes, I'm fine.
Good. Just wanted to make sure.
But trade for I can try to help with cooking. Does that count as a trade? I don't have anything big enough for you guys. I have tiny pockets.
You will be here in the morning, yes.
Well, I mean, we're leaving in the morning, but I'm sure
I could probably use some help making breakfast then.
There's going to be a lot of breakfast. All right.
You wanted a lot of balls.
I can't say it with a straight face.
Make sure it's nice and dry.
All these balls.
He says, if you're willing to help me with breakfast, I can see to your needs.
I can try.
Then we have a deal.
Then I shall do these things. Go to sleep and try to do these things.
All right. Anyone else before we move on to breakfast?
No.
All right. So morning comes. Lucas, you'll find out they're very early risers as you're gotten up before the crack of dawn. Yes, Anna.
How many hours until breakfast?
Oh, they went to sleep around sundown. You were meditating since probably.
Well, I stopped to eat dinner
okay.
but
So we'll say from like 8 to 5 in the morning. So you're looking at about 9 hours.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You spent most of the night training. You didn't sleep?
I'll sleep a little bit.
How much is a little bit?
Let's say 4 hours.
Okay. All right. So you'll sleep 4 hours. You'll probably wake up a bit sore the next day, but probably 4 hours is enough so that you're not going to be exhausted or anything.
Squee.
Mm-hmm.
That was Mackenzie talking.
Wait. Oh. Sorry, I was just talking.
Lols.
Yes, sorry, kid.
I was just talking to Anna. Hello. Anna's not here right now.
Kid,
Please leave a message after the beep.
how much sleep are you going to get?
Like I'm seeing them essentially having like passed out like an hour before sunrise and then waking up. So an hour.
Okay. All right. I will keep that in mind. That might affect your skill checks because your character will be exhausted.
Yes.
All right. But they trained.
God, did they train? Got some Rocky 3 montages going on or some shit.
Everyone, over the course of the night, you'd hear random, gentle, almost rolling thunder, but it's rolling stone. But Lucas, you're gotten up about 5 in the morning to help with breakfast, which generally devolves into ACU can help if you would like, but really the only thing Lucas would be big enough to do would be to like take a stick and run around the edge of the pot, like do laps around the edge of the pot with the stick to stir it.
Lucas can do this.
So Lucas starts stirring a big pot of porridge with a stick by running laps around the rim of a pot.
All right, Ace. Grab some spices. Shake it in there. I don't know how much. Just do it.
All right. You all wake up. I'm going to say since ACU was technically helping, you're going to wake up to a pleasant smell of spiced porridge as the sun begins to rise. You're all given a decent helping of porridge for breakfast, which is tiny for them. And after breakfast, you're all allowed to move on your way. By the way, Lucas, for helping with breakfast, you're going to be a little tired, obviously, but you will get a 6-day supply of sour camel balls.
Oh, hell yeah. Make sure it's dried so I can use them in the future.
Yeah, they're dried. Don't worry.
That's right, nice and shriveled.
All right. So, with that, you're all ready to move on to Choco Mountain. You press on to your journey. At first, the going is fairly easy and very quiet. It doesn't take more than an hour or so to get high enough above the village that the din of the normal life in the village is distant and below you. The mountain itself rises up very, very high into the sky. And at first, excuse me, you can take a zigzagging path that goes up it. However, after about 4 hours of your journey, the path itself disappears and you begin having to climb up the slope of the mountain, which is a little harder, but still not incredibly hard for a good 3 or 4 hours. But as time goes on, while the slope doesn't really get any steeper, the ground underneath you, which until now has been bedrock covered with a fine powdery sand, is turning more into jagged stone as the sand seems to fall towards the bottom of the mountain, and the topper parts of the mountain are more solid and jagged rock, so the going becomes much tougher. Luckily, you guys don't have to worry about rolling a navigation check or anything of the like. It's pretty easy to know where the top of a mountain is. Just keep heading that direction. However, it takes you the whole day to get about 3/4 of the way up the mountain before the sun starts to set. It is exhausting for all of you, especially so, doubly so for Kid. By the time the light has gotten dim enough that climbing further would be dangerous without a light source, you are, like I said, about 2/3 of the way up the mountain. And there are some places where you might be able to rest, but not. There aren't any level areas of ground that are wide enough for all of you to camp together. It would be more along the lines of you guys sleeping head to toe along a narrow, long ridge. Or you could choose to keep going as well.
Kid has something.
Yes, Kid?
So as soon as it starts getting dark and everyone, well, I suppose if they're paying attention, Kid would be like, normally they're at like the very head of the group. At this point, they would be like trailing along the back. And then after a bit, they just call forward, I'm done. And then goes to like the flattest section that they can find and just like face plant onto the ground.
Elisa will immediately fall to Kid's side and go, "Oh my gosh, they're okay. They're just poor thing's exhausted."
I believe that thing is quite rich. Then Lucas like goes beside and goes, I guess we're setting up, I would say camp, but I don't think we have enough space for camp.
All right. Well, we'll ask this: Is anyone opposed to setting up camp there?
No.
Is there anyone that would prefer
I'm
to
not
push on?
opposed.
All right. So you guys are able to set up a camp. Now, it's not narrow enough that it's dangerous or anything unless you roll a lot in your sleep. But I'd say the ridge that you're on is a good 5 feet across. So laying down long ways, there's not much danger involved for anyone. It's not the most comfortable sleep in the world, but there's definitely enough room for you guys to bed down for the night. You do find that as night falls, you are high above the clouds, several thousand feet off the ground. And as night falls and as you guys bed down for the night, you start to see the sky above you at nighttime, which It's not been something you've seen very common. The sky at night typically tends to be full of clouds, and it's certainly not something you've seen with this sort of clarity. When you look up, you see a very magnificent sight. Give me 1 second, and I'll show you, actually. You see a night sky that is almost completely filled up with the image of a spiral galaxy. It would seem that the current place where you are, wherever this is, wherever Candyland is, it is in a galaxy that is in the middle of colliding with another galaxy, and they're so close together that once the clouds and the haze clear out of the way and the light pollution is not a problem and you're up high in the atmosphere, you have a remarkable view that looks something like this. And I just put it in roll 20.
Let me see here.
Not
Oh.
bad, not bad at all.
Let me linky. Oh
That's
my
cool.
god. Cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And it's very peaceful. It's very quiet where you are. You hear nothing but the gentle sounds of the wind as you all go to sleep. Kid, you probably see none of this.
Kid
As
doesn't
you-
see shit.
as you are unconscious.
Yep.
The night
That's
passes fairly uneventfully. As the dawn comes, you'll all notice that there is a slight chill. As you're getting higher in the atmosphere, it is starting to get not unbearably cold, but in the morning you wake up all pretty much shivering unless you put on some form of blanket or heavier clothing or wear your body armor. You continue your trek upwards, and you find that the going gets a little bit tougher from there. And does anyone here not have body armor?
No, I definitely have body armor.
Kid doesn't.
Kid doesn't, but Kid, you don't need to worry about this. Anyone besides Kid?
Oh, what about Lil? Would they be affected? She?
No, because this is more of a climbing on sharp or hitting or banging your knee against sharp rocks, things like that. Phil's going to be around your neck, so...
Yeah. So she's safe and sound. Got it.
Ace is good. He's not climbing.
All right.
So, yeah, I also have armor.
Gave
Right.
Tessa armor before we started.
Correct. I think the only person here besides Kid that doesn't have body armor would be Elisa.
Well, she's got the fancy magic armor that she...
Yes, but it's not magic armor that could last for a very long period of time. It is something to be used for combat because of its short duration. So, give me a second here.
Kid offers to carry her again.
She would politely decline, saying that she is fine and not to trouble yourself with her. She takes 10 points of SDC over the course of the day through scraped knees and elbows as you begin climbing very jagged surfaces. It is clear that she scrapes herself up something good. But to her credit, she never once complains, nor even issues a cry of shock or surprise or pain. In fact, the only way you can tell that she's wounded herself at all is when you happen to look back at her or up at her and see that her robes are starting to get stained red with blood.
Kid would smell that.
Yes, you would smell that.
So this is the end of another day, correct?
No, this is over the course of that day.
Oh,
we'll say
okay.
you're in mid-afternoon as you approach the top.
Okay.
And as I said, as mid-afternoon approaches, say 3 or 4 in the afternoon, the weather is actually rather refreshing for Kid and Elisa, anyone who is not fully enclosed, because it's got a slight chill to it, but given the amount of exertion that you're giving, it's actually more refreshing than uncomfortable at this point. And as you approach the top of Mount Choco, you climb to what looks like a plateau. It arrives almost abruptly. You're climbing, then all of a sudden you climb over a ledge and you are on a plateau at the top of the mountain. It is obviously artificial. The ground itself is very smooth and polished rock. It is not perfectly circular, but given the shape of the mountain being more of a cone than anything else, it is roughly circular in shape. A good 900 feet in diameter. And at the center sits a very large 3-story building that looks like a very complex, multi-layered and multi-roomed circus tent. Has anyone ever seen like those tents designed for families that have like rooms upon rooms built in them?
Yep.
Oh God.
Imagine that, but like as a Barnum and Bailey circus tent.
I do not know of this tent.
No,
Let me see if I can find you a nice
underneath the big top, Piff. It's a.
Oh, I get the big
tent.
top part.
Oh, okay.
The first part is the one that's getting me.
Yeah, sure. No, give me a second. I'll show you a pic.
I'm thinking of a tent and like multi-floor tent. I'm just not picturing it.
Like.
Oh, this is too fancy.
No, this is a good example. A fairly good example. Imagine this, but as more of a circus tent theme and much, much larger. Here you go. I can give you a general idea.
Oh, so it's not really
has-
like multi-floor. It's more. What the heck?
Well,
We're driving out of that thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has a bloody carport.
Yeah, well, that's, for
It
those
has
that like to
two,
camp in style. For those that want to camp without really camping.
That is 2 cars. That is a
There is
second
2
car.
cars. Okay, I can't.
Look, we in the first world cannot give up our comforts when we go camping. What's wrong with you?
Oh my God! There's places for 2 fucking cars.
I partially get it because now you can go to the trunk and grab stuff, but it's also dumb.
I've also witnessed people bringing huge tents and a blow-up mattress and bedding and an actual bed frame.
A bed
Camping.
frame. See, bed frames.
And a generator and a television.
I mean, I guess this is good if you're going to be out there for a couple weeks, but a lot of people just go camping for like the weekend, and this seems like a lot of how do you do for just 2 days.
Definitely.
Anyway, so we're digressing with the camping.
So imagine that, but more with a circus tent flair to it. However, at the very front, there is actually a not a door, but a giant flap that is covering the entrance with a big farewell sign on the top that says entrance.
I wonder what this is. Xavier says sarcastically.
Could be a trap.
It's a space station. No, it's a tent. Come on, let's go.
Do you guys approach?
Mm-hmm.
I will.
All right. So you approach, you go to the flap, you push it aside, you step inside. Is there anyone that is staying outside of the tent?
Nope, I'm gonna go inside the tent. I'm a curious.
All right. So everyone's going in.
Yes.
All right. I'll take that for a yes. All right.
I'm going in.
As you guys enter, you find that it's very dim inside. Not dim enough that you can't see, your hand in front of your face. You can see shapes enough to walk around, but it is very dim. And you take a few steps inside when suddenly there is a click and a bright light illuminates you like a spotlight, the whole group. And you hear, "Welcome." And there's another click, and a spotlight about 20 feet away from you illuminates a single man with his back to you. He is dressed exquisitely, is the only word to really give it. He's wearing a voluminous tunic with very puffy, elegant silk sleeves, bright blue pants that end at about the ankle, and he's wearing what look to be buckled shoes and tights. He has very long, flowing blonde hair that it looks like a shampoo commercial. It's very voluminous. It bounces, it shines in the spotlight, and whoever this is, even with their back towards you, you can tell that they are very physically fit. They look like you can tell from the under the clothes. They have a lot of muscle mass. They're very toned. They probably don't have an ounce of fat on their body. They are incredibly athletic. And even their pose is very almost ballet or dancer. Like he has one foot out to the side, lightly, with almost no weight on it. He has both his arms up above his head with the wrists pointed down. In one hand, it looks like he has some sort of object. And he says, "You have made it to the end of the pilgrimage to meet me, Dio Jawbreaker.
Oh.
The avatar of Backsmack. Congrats,
jackass!"
And as he does that, he spins around, and as he spins around, he puts his hand at the bottom of the object, which you can tell now is a giant popper. And he spins around and says, "Congrats!" and turns around and locks eyes with Lucas.
Dun dun dun.
And he goes, "Oh." And then he just kind of pulls it, and the popper goes, and it's like pop, and glitter goes everywhere, but his face is just like completely lost all enthusiasm.
I have to know, does he look familiar to me?
Yes, he does.
Oh. Lucas is gonna bring up one hand and like twiddle his fingers and go, "Hello."
He almost overly dramatically rolls his eyes and goes, "Congratulations on making it. Well done," all that. Woo. He turns around and starts walking away.
Well, go on.
I don't think he's happy to see you, Xavier says.
Kid calls after him, "You owe us wishes."
We went a very long way.
His shoulders slump and his arms hang, and he spins around almost like a kid that is being told to do something he wants to, and he looks at you and he goes, "I know."
Douche.
This is what he does. This is what he does to like everyone. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You've probably been up here for. He stops for a second. Now that you think about it, how did you get here?
Well, unfortunately, one of my things is that I have to tell my story without embellishment or lies. I, the great, magnificent Dio Jawbreaker.
You said you weren't going to use embellishment.
I'm not, I assure you.
Okay, please continue.
Decided to travel the universe to spread my greatness, as I thought, and using our great god's title as avatar to impress the ladies. And with that, he looks at Elisa and like wiggles an eyebrow.
Good luck with that.
Elisa seems completely unmoved.
Good on you.
He pauses after a moment and sighs. That is when you and I had our differences, Lucas.
You kicked me in the face.
Yes, he smiles. Differences.
But why the foot face though? It's been years, and this is just the one question I just gotta know. Why?
Because, Lucas, because You stole.
The end of 3 Galaxies.
Oh my god. Okay, I think we're back. But right as you said that, the stream died.
That's hilarious.
Okay, but anyways, Xavier's gonna take the next 5 minutes seriously considering what kind of fucking woman would date not one or the other, but both of them. So that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Okay. And with that, Dio pauses, looking at Lucas angrily, and then says, "In any case, our great lord decided that he had had enough of my antics and gave me exactly what I thought I wanted. I am now the great avatar of Backsmack, sitting here at the top of Mount Choco for the rest of my days, granting wishes for all those who come." And he grits his teeth. "The worst part is I am not allowed to twist the wishes. I am not allowed to turn words against you. I am, to the best of my ability, to give you exactly what you wanted."
Neat. Neat.
Cool.
Lucas, you more than anyone else know that Dio was a prankster, a selfish brat, someone who would manipulate people to get what he wanted. To be forced to grant others their wishes would probably be the worst kind of fate for this man.
It would be some kind of hell.
To never get what he wants, but to continuously grant others what they want. So, one wish apiece. There are limits to what I can do. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get on with it.
So is it like is Backsmack like you, or is it more of like you just do things for him, or is it like you have like a direct like little communicator with him, or?
Oh, I am not Backsmack. No, I don't think any of us would be able to withstand that kind of insanity. No, you could say I speak with him, though not in the way that you and I speak. More that I think at him and understand his responses. It is as if your mind suddenly decides what you want to do or how you want to think. Or
That's
what
dumb.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
honestly rough, dude.
I agree. And then he just like throws his hands up with a shrug. So as I said, I'm very busy with very many nothing to do, so shall we get on with it? Your
Alright.
wishes?
Well, who wants to go first? I'm curious to see what you guys have. I'd hate to double wish for something that you were going to
Is it
get.
like double dipping?
Well, I
double
mean-
wishing?
I can go first.
Kid. Oh god. Well, first, Kid turns. Kid turns to Lucas and goes, "Can I still break his jaw?"
What? Hold on.
I'd like to see you try.
She
Yeah,
could just
laughing.
wish
Kid
for your jaw to
turns-
break. Do you forget that?
His mouth snaps shut and he glares daggers at Isaac.
It's true! What? I'm just saying the truth.
He says nothing in return. He's just staring at you like if looks could incinerate.
Okay, I don't want to go
During this
first
time-
now.
Well, during this time, Xavier's bringing up his holo computer, almost like he's accessing a picture file or something like that,
Mhm.
in preparation for his wish.
Okay,
If we just wait a few moments, I'll start us off.
sure.
Sure.
Okay. Xavier's gonna pause for a moment. He goes, there we go. That's a pretty good picture of it, he says. And he brings up a picture of the golden orb. And he says, I wish for a perfect replica of that, please.
He looks at it, and he closes his eyes for a moment.
It's made of pure gold.
And he opens his eyes again, and he says, when you say perfect replica...
It doesn't have to emulate the abilities, just the aesthetics.
Ah, well, see, that I can do. The first one, something that powerful.
Yeah, I know.
Very well, very well. And he waves his hands, and there's like this sound. And in his hands, he is holding a perfect-looking replica of a golden orb.
Thank you very much, my good man. You just solved an entire planet's worth of problems. And then Xavier will reach out for it.
You take it. It's fairly solid gold in your hands. Seems pretty, like I said, solid and weighty.
Xavier cherishes it very carefully. That's all I need, Xavier says, very happy.
Yay. Next.
Oh.
Got a plus? Yeah.
Okay, question, because this affects my wish.
Uh-huh.
Are we still going after the actual orb?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
of course. We don't want the actual orb to fall into anyone's hands. This is the fake out orb to give to Thraxus so he stops being a douche chill. You know what I
Okay.
mean? We're going to give this to past Thraxus, and we'll be good. Then the future events of what happens on the planet won't happen, right? It's what it is it's going to be a great tool to solve this problem, regardless of how we utilize it. So, but I still think we should go after the actual orb, don't you guys?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
I should probably note something for you, Inferno. I'm not quite sure if your character would do this, but just to note for you as a player, you may want to have an additional attribute to make it seem like it has a lot of magical power on it, like kind of like a reverse weakness aura.
Well, you know what I think we should do, just so I don't rescind my wish. I think if we want that, we should find some sort of powerful spellcaster to enchant it that way.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas, you would know as a caster yourself. To cast an enchantment on it that just gives it the illusion is definitely possible. To cast an enchantment on it that would give off the type of power you're seeking and fool anyone is very possible, but it would be an endeavor. You know what I mean? Like, you would have to find someone very talented. But it's very doable.
Besides, and I will say, and Xavier will say also at a later point, this orb, even if he doesn't touch it, will think it's real, and by then we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like, remember, he said us to give us back the golden orb, right? And in his past, he didn't realize what its powers could do. It was only much later, like 100 or 200 years later, that he was kind of able to unlock the power. So anyways, regardless, I think we can enchant it as a own little kind of side quest thing. But I'm still very content with my wish. But yeah, no, to answer your long-winded wise, and I think we are still going to go after the real one, because that's still a giant threat. I mean, fuckface McGee, what's his face, Simmons and shit are after it too, right? So this is still a important MacGuffin that we got to get rid of. But this solves the Thraxus problem without a doubt.
Yeah, I just needed to know if I need to go to my backup wish or not.
No.
Okay.
All right, does that mean you're ready for your wish, Anna?
Sure.
All right. Dio is standing there very elegantly, trying to look bored.
Okay, I need to know how to word this. I wish for the blueprints to the building that the actual golden orb is within, possibly with the best routes to get to it.
He closes his eyes, opens them again, and says, "You all wish for the most mundane things," he says as he waves his hands, and congratulations, you have blueprints to a building. Tell you what, everybody. Let me move you over real quick to another map.
Okay.
Woo!
To reveal
Bye,
things
Bye,
that
Ryle.
I did not think I'd have to reveal so far. So early. Reveal areas. So,
Surprise.
Are we fighting?
No. This is the blueprints.
she got blueprints to a building.
Sweet.
All right. So the top left is the outside of the building, the perimeter. What you see is it's actually very much like what you're looking at now. It's a colored representation. It looks like some sort of complex with heavy mining equipment and vehicles outside. Inside the complex, you see 2 levels. The top level is at the top right. This looks like the top level of the building, or the first floor of the building. With this being, this right here being designated as the entrance. And then there's an elevator right here that leads down to the lower level right here. And you see that inside a vault like this lies several items, including at the very center, a golden orb.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yay, cheats.
Cheats for ages. All right. I'll go ahead and keep you here for a while. You can study it if you'd like. With that, he says, that's 2 down. Next.
Elora, would you like to go?
No.
Okay. Then I will go. All right. So my
Please
wish.
try not to bore me this time.
My wish is an interesting one, and I'm not entirely sure if you can even do it. He's going to pull up his holo computer and pull up a picture of the Starlock. He's going to show it to him. This is our ship.
How quaint.
Yes, it is currently parked in one of the many parking spots. I was wondering if you could make it bigger on the inside.
Looks like something like that wouldn't even turn on.
You didn't even listen to me, did you?
He sulks. No.
I would like the inside of this ship to be much bigger than the outside.
That's a wish.
Yes.
And
now, I would like many more rooms. I would like the rooms to be bigger, and I would like a room big enough for a worm of sorrow. We befriended one.
I said one wish, not several.
Oh shit.
All right.
So, tell me first, not that this wouldn't be beyond my potential, but what you're requiring is a very, very powerful magical enchantment. And magical enchantments require power. What power would you have to continue this enchantment after I create it?
Well, we have a magical battery located in the engine, created by a techno wizard called Cathor.
I see.
Are you familiar with Cyrene?
He closes his eyes. I am now.
Yeah. That gem was able to power a weather device on there for quite a while.
This is something I could do, but it would permanently require the services of that device. You would not be able to use it for anything else ever again, at least you break the enchantment and tear your ship apart.
Well, that would not be good.
No, that wouldn't.
That would be bad.
Kid pipes up. Could you make a new one?
A new what?
Ship.
the battery thing.
Unfortunately, little thing, I don't have that much power.
Well, then what use are you?
Lots of uses. For example, I can dance. And he begins doing like this
No one wants
very
that.
ostentatious dance.
No one wants that.
Stop that.
Is that your wish? He says hopefully as he continues to dance.
No, but I could break your legs and make you stop.
Probably not.
He stops and then like does like this little mimic mouth thing like
That sounds about right.
So, is that your wish or not?
What do you guys think? It'd be very useful.
Yeah, it's your wish, man. Go nuts.
Yeah, that thing's just been sitting around anyway.
Yeah, but we also lose... We lose a lot of potential with that. Unless we can get another one made. Maybe. Eventually.
Hart pipes up, she goes, I mean, anything's possible, but that gem's one of a kind as far as I've ever seen. But who knows? I mean, you guys have done the impossible more times than I can count.
Yeah. And Xavier says, don't get too wrapped up on things that we'd miss or things that we wouldn't. Xavier says, potential comes from opportunity, and we're good at seeking out good opportunities. So we're doing pretty well with what we got. Remember, this is just a used ship that we bought on Frontier Station, a long time ago and hundreds of years in the past. Still serving us well. No reason why you have to, rack your brain over it. Just do what you think is useful. We trust you.
Then yeah, that's my wish.
What is your wish?
That the inside of this ship, our ship, the Starluck, was bigger on the inside.
He closes his eyes for a second, and then he kind of like has a fit, and then he opens his eyes and says, all right, fine, yes, I knew what he meant. Very well done. And size somewhat appropriate to what you were thinking instead of the foot bigger I was going to give you.
Yeah, see, we was going to try to screw us, but as God prevented it.
It is a burden.
You're not a very good follower of your God. Tisk, tisk, Xavier says. You should be happy. You should be happy to do Bax Maxwell.
Believe it or not, he's very pleased with me.
Okay. Well.
And he gives like a sour look at that.
Well, he is a walking joke, so there you go. Anywho, more wishy.
Yes, you've all already been here for an age.
An age and a day.
I could continue dancing.
Yeah.
So Lucas pipes up and goes, okay. So I guess my wish is as he then like really takes his time with it.
No. Back torture. Or torture.
The ability to get back to this planet at any particular point through some sort of magical teleportation thing. Preferably with the ability to come back to any place that we already explored and not any of the other places we haven't. I just want to... I don't know. I feel like if we just knew all the cool places and just go there, it would lose its charm.
Oh, goody. Because we would miss you so.
And we can stop by anytime and say hello. You won't be lonely anymore.
Thoroughly hate this, he says, as he like waves his hands flourishing.
Oh wait, no, hold on. And of course, we also need transportation back after we're done visiting. So it's two ways, not just the one, though.
Damn it. He waves his hands. Your ship now has an extra room. There, look, see? You're both happy.
Does this room do anything?
You nincompoop. Yes, the room teleports you back here at your leisure.
Do we get like a little button thing to come back, or is it like a...
He closes his eyes and he goes, yes, fine. Yes. And he like waves his hands and he produces what looks like a small TV remote that literally has two buttons on it. A button pointing downwards and a button pointing upwards.
Neat.
Next. And Laura, would you like to go next, or do you want some of the NPCs to go? I know you're kind of waiting. I don't know exactly what for, but do you want to wait a little bit longer and let others go first, or are you ready?
Kid's essentially going to wait till the very last person makes their wish, and the reason why is because they have no fucking clue what they want.
All right, fair enough. Then I will briefly go over, as briefly as I can, the other NPCs. Tessa. Tessa asks for the ability to be an expert in the ways of power armor so that she can protect herself and her sister. And he flourishes his hands. Tessa blinks, and then she smiles and just grins at Anna, almost mischievously.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Cyber 6 goes forth, and he looks around, looks at everyone, looks at Kid, like locks eyes with Kids for a moment, and then leans in and whispers something to Dio, and Dio goes, "Oh, that's the first wish I've liked all day." And he waves his hands, and Cyber 6 is suddenly adorned with the most perfect looking sombrero and poncho that you have ever seen. It is exquisitely made.
Damn it!
Really?
Oh, where's the
Oh
wish?
wow! It fits him, but yeah.
And he looks at it, flexes it a bit, winks at Kid, and walks back. Elisa steps forward and she says, "The only thing that I could wish in my heart is, I guess, some news, some information that would help my friends. Any of them, somehow." And Dio just kind of smiles and he goes, "Are you sure that's the wish you want?" "Yes, more than anything." "Very well." And he whispers something in her ear, and her eyes widen immensely, and she looks straight at Xavier. "Oh,
What?
you have a daughter."
What?
What?
What? He looks behind him to make sure he's not talking to someone else.
Nope.
What? Okay,
Good job.
.exe is now shutting down.
She goes, I'm sorry. I didn't know that would be what I was told."
What did you wish for? Yes, in a tone very high
Some
like that.
form of information that would help you.
Well, I appreciate it, but what? What do you mean I have a daughter? Xavier says. And now he's thinking about all of his sexual conquests and cursing himself for not stopping at the local 7-Eleven and picking up some Galaxies condoms. Anyway.
She says, she's been looking for you.
Which,
I don't know how that's supposed to help, though.
Past Xavier, future has kid, or
Anna just starts slow clapping.
She says, and she looks at Dio, and Dio goes, "Go on." He smiles broadly, and she goes, "If you ever want, you can find her back on Frontier Station in the past, looking for you."
Don't yourself a time baby.
And then she kind of hangs her head and sheepishly returns.
Wait, does she have a name?
She looks up. I'm sorry, I don't know.
I have a daughter, and she's looking for me in the past in Frontier Station.
Dio looks at you and raises his eyebrows a few times, huh?
You're an asshole, Dio.
Yes,
I can't unknow that. And Xavier's going to just step back and still try to process this, but hear her mutter, "I can't be a father. I'm not nearly responsible."
No one's
in control of this group.
And lastly, not lastly, because Kid hasn't gone yet, but lastly of the NPCs, Hart steps forward and she removes her helmet. And she kind of sheepishly walks up to Dio and whispers something in his ear. And Dio says, "Oh, silly child. You cannot make someone feel that way. They just do or they don't." And Kid goes, not Kid, Hart goes, "Oh, okay. Then," and she looks straight at Isaac and she goes, "I'm sorry if this isn't right, but can you bring someone here? Can you bring Isaac's father here?"
Oh.
And Dio looks and he goes, "Not entirely. But I could
bring half of him here. That would just kill him.
I could bring a projection of them for a few minutes, and wherever they are at the time might be rather inconvenient."
Everything just.
This is so good.
Oh my god. Okay,
What is
we're
going
back.
on?
I don't know why, but my internet's not stable today. We're back.
No, I don't mean with your internet. I mean with this fucking campaign.
Yeah.
Alright, please continue.
So yeah, I don't know specifically where they left off, but Hart just asked for a projection of Isaac's dad. And moving on.
Give me 1 second.
Some of him raising his hands.
He raises his hands, and as Hart steps back with a very unsure look on her face, beside Dio suddenly stands a semi-translucent, colorful, in full color, Atlantean. At first glance, it is unmistakable. The similarities between the resemblance between Isaac and this man, though he does look a little older. A few more lines on his face, though not many. His hair is cut short, unlike Isaac's. He is incredibly well defined in a rugged sort of way. He's not very clean. He has scars up and down his arms and across his face, little scars here and there. And the most important thing of all, despite his dirty appearance, despite his scars, despite his clothes that have clearly seen a lot of wear and tear, he wears tight-fitting clothing with a harness on it, with 2 swords on his back and several pistols up and down his legs. He has a presence of confidence. Like, even though his face is one of confusion, he doesn't know where he is and where he's standing, he exudes this presence of sureness. He is sure of himself and his capabilities. And this is a feeling that's very easy to pick up off of him. He looks around and says, "All right. What fresh hell is this?"
Are you Adelum Tabaris?
Well, that's me. Oh. He kind of stands up straighter as he looks at Isaac. And you?
I am Isaac Redfield.
His eyes widen.
Yeah,
Take
tell
off-
me about it, buddy.
Take off that helmet.
Isaac will take off his helmet.
You got your mother's eyes, boy. So what? You looking for me after all this time?
I have been chased to all across the galaxy, from Earth to the three galaxies to even the Corsairs.
You made it that far. Impressive.
Mhm.
Almost as good as your sister.
My sister? I have a sister?
Oh, yes. I suppose you wouldn't know she left with me. I hope you're not expecting an apology. We have to do what we are duty-bound to do. It wasn't a matter of love, or if I wanted to go or not. Is that what this is? Some sort of vendetta, revenge against the father?
No. I just
see.
never knew you. Never knew Mom. She died in childbirth. I only knew my grandfather, and, well, he was a right prick.
Well, then, perhaps there's hope for you after all, if you've truly made it this far. And he looks around, looking at the tent around him, wherever this far is.
You're just being projected by a deity called Backsmack. It'll only last for a couple of minutes.
Interesting. Well then, boy, you have me. What would you like to know?
According to information, you will be in Tolkien during, and he'll spit out a year and date.
I am at this moment, yes. I do hope my body is okay.
You'll be fine, I think. I just
Good.
want to have a meeting. Talk for a bit, face to face. Is that okay?
Do you know why I left you, boy?
Why?
Because there's a war coming. There's a war coming. It's going to tear this entire galaxy apart. I was a Corsair. Did they tell you that? Did he tell you that? He points to Cyber 6.
Probably.
I was a Corsair. I took my responsibilities seriously. He would have also told you that I went rogue.
Mhm.
That's because sacrifices have to be made for what's going to come. If the Commonwealth is going to survive this war, it needs better leadership. You said you made it to the Corsairs. You seen their government? What do you think of it, boy?
We have an interesting relationship with them.
Yes. Well, it needs to be strengthened.
Mhm.
That's what I'm doing. I am fighting a war against an enemy that could destroy us all. I don't want you to just come talk to me, boy. If you're looking for me that much, if you want to see me and your sister, I could use your help. This thing, this army, does not have pity nor remorse, and will slaughter everyone who's not like them. So if you want to come find me and chat, that's just fine. But you better come ready to play.
I'm always ready to play. But what is this army? What are they called?
No one knows their name, boy. But if you ever run into them, if you ever run into a white ball that looks like a planet, the gravity well unlike anything you've ever seen, then unfolds into 1,000 little ships. Run, if you can.
He should have told us before. That would save us some time.
His eyes widen. So you've seen one?
We try to talk to it.
Out of character, I don't remember this.
Deep space, traveling back from Cyrene.
I remember.
A giant gravity well sucked you out of faster than light travel.
Yes.
A little white moon-like ball that you orbited around and started unfolding into tiny little fighters. Yeah.
Oh!
Now I remember. Yeah,
We used its own gravity to slingshot you back into light speed.
Yeah, we used its gravity to slingshot us back into light speed.
He says they're coming. Sooner or later, they're coming. And if we're not ready, they'll destroy everything that any of us ever loved. So if you're as strong as you look, I could use you. Though the likes of him, and he looks at Cyber 6, might not take too kindly to it. Not strong enough to make the sacrifices necessary.
What, an ex-Corsair?
He shrugs. Corsairs are rigid, as much as they like to laud their flexibility.
Well,
They couldn't see what I and my allies saw.
Allies? Who are you working with?
Lots of people. People that have visions like me.
Kid
People that know what's coming.
Kid pipes up and says, "Were you the one that tried to kill her?"
Kill who?
The lady.
Sorry, darling. Could you be a little more specific?
And kid starts like mumbling to themselves and then finally says, "Teal."
Teal? Senator Teal? Not as far as I know. I've been down here on this planet.
We'll have that
Well,
meeting face to face. Eventually.
I'm looking forward to it, boy. I'm looking forward to it. And then the image fades.
So Isaac has a sister.
And David has a brother.
have a daughter.
Hart looks at Isaac with like almost a pleading face and says, "I'm sorry if that was the wrong thing to do, but I mean, you've been looking for him so long. I just thought maybe."
No. That was great. That was fantastic. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, she brightens up. Oh, you're welcome. And then she just kind of blushes and looks away. Elora, Dio's looking at Kid, going, one left to go. The little furry one. What would you like to wish for? Ball of yarn?
Spoiler alert, kid still doesn't know what they want.
I guess Lucas, he would probably like inch over like, I actually got a few more things I want. If you don't got nothing, I can. I mean, I can help you out with to think what you would like, but I mean, if you don't want it.
really hard for a second, and then looks at Dio and goes, oh, shit. I don't know. And then they turn to the rest of the group and go, there's someone who's looking for me.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Is it Xavier's daughter?
I don't. Kid considers it for a moment. But finally they say, I don't know if I want her to find me or if I don't.
Alright.
And they turn to Dio and say, could you make it so that she can't find me? I want to be free.
He closes his eyes for a moment, then opens them and says, oh, oh, you little poor thing. Normally, I would say it's possible, but this woman, well, she wants you something badly. I don't think all the magic in the world would prevent her from finding you eventually. I could kill her. Perhaps. No, maybe I even could do that. Wow, you do have interesting friends.
Kid grits their teeth and goes, that's my job.
Fair enough. But to answer your question, perhaps I could do something to delay her, but prevent her from ever finding you? Oh, that would be like trying to prevent the sun from rising. Which is definitely possible, but, well, not by me.
At least until I'm strong enough.
Oh, such a boring wish, such a boring wish. Very well. Consider it done. He waves his arms. I don't know how much time that will buy you, but at the moment she has run into a bit of bad luck. Seems that all her finances have been drained. She'll be a bit busy for the next few years, I think. Unless she's incredibly resourceful. In any case, it's the best I can do.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you're a boring
that the
wish.
Is that the budget being transferred? Or the fuck? Never mind.
Yeah, that's her. That's her trying to get her ATM card eaten up.
God damn it.
And with that, the wishes conclude.
Kid actually pauses and goes, that's the money thing, right?
Yes, her.
Can I have it?
One wish, my friend. One wish.
Well, technically, what about ACU?
Who?
What about Ryan?
ACU like crawls out from the.
Who? Oh.
Lucas goes, oh yeah, look at this guy. Look at him.
Dio stares at him and goes, well, fuck.
Fudgesicles. Oh, that too.
Very well, little strange thing. What do you want?
ACU looks at Lucas. I still want things, but I mean, it is still your wish, I suppose. Now, out of character, I'm going to have a brief think exactly what he's going to wish for. But did you say there was another person, like Rael or whatever?
Yeah, Rael.
That's what they said, yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Why
the
don't we
shape-shifting
summon
thing?
Rael?
I don't know. Is Big Top big enough?
Only humor is if
yes.
his tent gets broken.
It technically is big enough. There won't be a lot of space, but yes.
You forgot Rael, ACU, and small squidgy thing around kid.
Lil
The
gets
small
a
squidgy thing doesn't get a wish, as it can't actually speak.
No.
Quick,
I
ACU,
definitely heard
wish
that
for
thing
it to
talk
speak.
before. It said some sort of prophecy mumbo jumbo. Can definitely
Kid
speak.
like takes Lil off of their neck and holds them out, just like go on.
Lil just
Anything
kinda
can
looks,
communicate.
Lil just looks at Kid confused, and then begins like nibbling on Kid's fur.
Aw.
No, you can do it. You did it before. I want to buy things.
Kid just looks up. Lil just looks up, smiles like a big wide smile, and just kind of nuzzles into Kid's hand.
Kid, if you want to buy things, I have like 13 million galactic credits. I can take you out shopping.
No, but I want hers.
Oh, if that offer actually applies to me as well.
No.
There are.
Hey, you tried to troll us with a lot of our wishes. You're mean, sir.
If you think that's trolling, it's not. He just looks very sulky. All right, no wish for the little pus ball, but the little clay golem can actually speak.
Hey, dough. Ginger dough.
Ever, Lucas.
Now, out of character, I'm going to have to debate about exactly what he would wish for, if he'd want to actually have that more than anything else, or like he would just. I know as a player, I have things that I can wish for, but it would take a goddamn while for me to think what he might want. Because his stuff is like a lot of just like thought-provoking things, and I'm not quite sure if that's actually a thing that you can wish for. It's more just talking to people.
Yeah, if you need to take a week or not, I would personally prefer it if it is a wish for ACU, so that Lucas doesn't get 2 wishes. But so yeah, if you want to take a week, I'm fine with that.
Be technically a wish for another NPC, but
Oh my god.
You Ace.
It's see.
How about
Okay,
you?
here's my 2 other wishes that I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas, if he didn't have anything that he thought would be helpful or something else to someone else, he would, for himself, wish for like a really cool wig.
Uh-huh.
The other one would be like a hyper-drived freaking like fisticuff weapon for Lady Pants back at the ship. I do have one. It is good and whatnot, but wishing for one from a god is that much better. I really wanted to surprise her with that. Though, that being said, I can actually still find super neat things like not on this world for unarmed weapons. So I can. Both of those are kind of frivolous and not entirely necessary.
Here's what I would say, and this is kind of up to you. It should be ACU's wish. However, if you think ACU as a character would wish for one of those things, especially since they're not really for Lucas, I am okay with this. Quite honestly, and since it is your NPC, if you really came to me and said, no, ACU would really just want to wish for something for Lucas, I wouldn't really say no, because it would be in his character. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I leave it up to your conscience as a player.
Yeah, if it was an ACU thing, he doesn't entirely want for anything that I can think of. A lot of his stuff, like what he wants to do is just talk to people, and that's very easily accomplished without a wish.
For most people, yes.
Yeah.
Lil can't do it.
Look, man.
Oh, fuck. I'm half tempted to wish for Lil to be able to speak for a wish.
Oh my god.
Fuck it, I'm doing that one, because I would like that one to go.
So I guess Ace, you saw what Dio said, didn't like it.
It
Let
gives
it
AC
be,
someone to
little
talk to.
doughboy.
Oh man.
It gives him an ability to talk to somebody, too, so there you go.
Milking his wishes.
All right. Dio goes, oh, you must be joking.
Kid holds Lil up again, further out.
I... Damn you, Lucas, he says, looking at Lucas, and then waves his hands. And
I'll take the bullets.
and then all of a sudden, Lil goes, hello. Oh my gosh, can you hear me?
Oh my god,
Yes.
so cute.
Yes, we can.
Oh, I get a wish. I get a wish. I get a wish. I wish for. And then it pauses. And then it says, I wish for you to break your jaw.
That's my baby!
Oh,
Good baby.
Kid has never been prouder.
And then it just like
I.
closes its eyes happily as Dio says, I hate all of you.
I'm okay with this.
As he proceeds to walk over to a counter, pick up what looks like a wooden bowling pin,
Oh, this is so much worse.
and with one very solid smack, breaks his jaw.
I didn't think he would have to physically break it. I just thought it was just gonna break.
This is so much better.
And then with angry eyes, he starts waving his hands, and in the air, words start to appear with his fingers. Is there anything else? Question
Yeah, we
mark?
got one more. Give us a second.
Tessa, free right now.
Tessa happily brings out Rael. and with that, Dio just like throws his hands up, looks up as this giant gummy worm appears in his tent, and he just goes. And Rael's like, "Oh, hello. Oh, this isn't where I was. Hey, do you think that little device thing actually works? Because I'm starting to think maybe it works, or I am having memory lapses. One of
It
the
works, Ryle.
Two. Oh, he starts shaking his head. Oh, good. That's good. That's good.
So,
Where
Ryle,
are we?
you have a wish. We are in front of Dio Jawbreaker, and he's going to point over to Dio with his hands.
Oh, hello. Pleasure to meet you. And Dio's
This is Dio's worst day.
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to like me very much. Did I
He
do
doesn't
something
like
wrong?
any of us.
We did it.
But
Oh.
Kid is currently beaming.
I was thinking, maybe, you have a wish, and you can wish for practically whatever you want. But there is something that we promised you, promised that we would do for you. And what you could do is you could wish for either to be able to communicate with your mom no matter
No,
where.
I got that one covered.
Oh,
I got a little thing that can transport us all the way back to here at any time.
oh,
Wait, I can wish for anything I want?
yeah.
No,
anything
hold
that you
on.
want.
Give us a second. We'll tell you
Hold
what
on.
we wished for so we don't get double ones.
I want fish every day for the rest of my life, enough to fill me up.
We did not wish for that one. You
We
can
did
go
not
get
wish
that.
for that one. Good for
We
you.
did not wish for fishes.
Dio just
If
kind of
wishes
like
were fishes.
Dio just like half-heartedly raises up one hand in the air, staring at the ground, and waves it. And fish begin raining down around Ryle. And he goes, "That's amazing. Every day? Without fail?"
Can I
Ryle's
have some?
Ryle doesn't say anything. He's just crying.
He's just crying big gummy worm
Aw.
tears. Kid's gonna try and eat one of the fish.
It is a real, raw, dead fish.
Oh boy!
All right.
I was expecting it to like poof out of existence or something.
And with that, I think that's a good place to end the session.
Yeah.
There is one thing that I want to do.
Raining fish.
Mhm.
There is one thing that I want to do.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
I will take off my body armor's gloves and
Mhm.
approach Dio.
Okay.
Don't get in pain.
Yeah, help him out.
I
Dio's
was
just
going
looking
to.
at you.
Now, I'm sorry that you had to break your jaw, but I can fix it for you. And Isaac will go and place his hand on Dio's head, with kind of sort of messing his hair up a bit. And dead in pain.
No.
And then I will use healing touch as much as it requires to heal his jaw back.
Okay. It's going to take quite a few, because Healing Touch isn't really designed for massive damage like
well,
that.
should I use psychic surgery? Would that fit more?
Yeah, that would work much better.
Okay.
I'd say those two in conjunction, you give it about 15, 20 minutes or so, you could probably fix them up.
Okay. Then, den pain, psychic diagnosis, psychic surgery, healing touch.
So we'll just say you do it.
Mhm.
About 15, 20 minutes pass, and he starts like checking his jaw with his hand. He's like, "Well, took you long enough, Lucas."
Really? Not even a thank you? Really?
Yes.
He's like completely ignoring Isaac. He holds out a hand. "I want it. I know it's in probably one of the several wallets you carry. I want it."
Right here, right now, in front of everyone?
Don't be droll. I know you have it.
Your dignity?
Oh,
Oh!
I
He,
think
like,
you're gonna have
his-
to get back on
his-
that healing
his-
touch.
His lips tighten as he tries not to stare at Anna. He goes, "I know you carry her picture somewhere. I want it."
Does he carry around pictures of past girls?
Only you would know this.
Or would he just not care enough?
Yeah. Does she remember what she looks like?
These are all good questions. No, he would remember this one.
Hmm.
Maybe not for the girl itself, but the person that's linked to her. It's very important.
Mhm.
But a picture. Would he carry around a picture? You know what? I'll just say yes for the shits of it. I would say that he doesn't carry around pictures of the girls, but this one just so happened because every once in a while they insist upon giving him a token and this one was a picture of her.
So Lucas opens up his wallet, pulls out a stick of used gum. There's like different assorted wrappers. There's a couple of other pictures, and then he throws the other picture at him.
So what he does is he goes, give me a second, as he then like fumbles through all of his like wallets, like, no, not this one. No, not this one. No, not this one. As he then takes like a wallet that's obviously just overflowing with cosmic credits, and he like flips them out like it's like just getting in the way, and he goes, here it is. And he pulls out the picture.
Dio holds out a hand. Do you give it to him?
Oh yeah.
He'll take it, and he'll say, well, the day hasn't been a complete waste. If there's nothing else you need from me, I believe you have a button that you can press now.
I gotta pick up all of this.
But you'll never forget the day you met Dio Jawbreaker, avatar of Blacksmack. And he like poses.
And which day was that again? I forgot it was a while.
Oh, just get out of here already.
I seriously, was it like the 4th? I think it was like a week after the celebration with the, forget it.
And we'll end the session there.
All right, that sounds like a good place to end the session.
Yep.
Oh, bit of troll.
Oh my gosh.
Before any bombs have been dropped of any kind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just say one thing before we end?
What?
Huh?
The backup wish was Anna asking if her mom was dead or alive.
Oh!
Wow, that's dark.
That was just theme-wise, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, that would have.
Everybody's got
concerned about family.
issues.
Yeah.
God damn.
I hope my second wish was A-okay, because I felt that was more than fair to not like double dip.
Completely agree. And it was amazing. I even had to think, what the heck, Frill? Because I considered Ace U. I considered you guys pulling Ryle out just to piss him off. Never did I dream of Frill. Of the Frill.
All right. I should probably just end the stream there.
Yeah,
So thank
yeah.
you guys for
Take care,
watching.
Bye, everyone.
We'll
Bye.
see you
Join
guys
us next
week,
week,
Wednesday.
where they get to see their bigger ship.
Yes, the bigger one.
Bigger ship.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.